Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be doing a deep dive breakdown on Jessica Jones. Now, for those of you who do not know, Jessica Jones appeared in this game many years ago, but never as a playable character. We had this whole event around Jessica Jones, but unfortunately we were never able to actually use her as a champion, but now we can, and she's going to be exclusive trophy champion. Basically, she's going to be added into the new banquet crystals that's going to be equivalent to gifting events. So you're going to have to be very lucky in order to be able to acquire her, which kind of sucks because I actually really like, and there are some cool jokes that this time around I genuinely do enjoy, and I really want to have her as a champion. Obviously, part of it is the fact that she is going to be the trophy champion, but I do think she has some very cool abilities too. So let's start to break it down. She has her resistances up. She can go unstoppable. She can also go unblockable at times and inflict debuffs whenever opponents activate their special attacks, which kind of work in her favor as well. The entire point about Jessica Jones is that she works around investigation because she is a private investigator. So gain 1 investigation when the opponent gains a bar of power. So that's kind of like the same thing as Overseer. Gain 1 investigation when the opponent is inflicted with a non-stun debuff. And that is basically going to be whenever opponent activates a special attack, because whenever opponents are activating a special attack for each investigation that you have, you're basically placing weaknesses on them, for example. And then on top of it all, also whenever you throw your level 1, you're typically going to be placing some debuff on them. And as a defender, gain 1 investigation every 4 seconds. The opponent spends about 2 bars of power. Fair enough. Lose 2 investigation when the opponent gains or activates a cleanse effect. So she's going to be absolutely awful against cleanse champions. The ongoing investigation makes the opponents nervous. Each investigation increases the opponent's chance to launch a special attack by 18%. And reduces their ability power rate and regeneration rate by 7%. And this is very cool because before long you will be at like 10 investigations, which is max, and then they cannot be gained or lost anymore. But it basically means that she's gonna have like a super useful taunt in her kit, and also reducing opponent's ability power rate and regeneration rate by 70% is definitely a good bit of utility to have for a champion. So I do like that bit as well. And then based on how many investigations you have when opponents activate their special attacks, you will be gaining these passive effects that will start with resistance up, unstoppable, and finally unblockable when they activate the special attacks, but they will linger for about 2 seconds afterwards, so you will be able to benefit from them to gain openings, so on and so forth. And it is very cool. The coolest thing about her, I'm going to show in a moment there. What was I trying to showcase here? The weakness is, yes, for each investigation you place a 2% weakness on opponents, which, you know, is neat. It's not the biggest or the strongest, but her level 1, that's where it's important. Her level 1 throws many different things at opponents, and it cannot throw the same thing basically twice in a row, or more specifically until you have circled all the items that you have. And the item selection is kind of random at first until you get the kitchen sink, basically. And yes, she throws everything and the kitchen sink at the opponents, so I do like that they put that in there. Oh, Jessica Jones. So she's gonna have this fire hydrant, no, that propane tank, and that propane tank inflicts like incinerate. She's gonna have the box, and when you throw the box on the opponent, they are stunned for quite a meaningful while. Then you can throw a trash can, which crushed the opponent, I think. I don't know what crush debuff exactly does. Then you can throw a fire hydrant, which is also kind of cool, and you can throw a wooden pallet at your opponent, and then you can throw a tire, which inflicts a rupture. Here we have the propane tank. You can throw a pizza at opponent, but that gives her a regeneration passive. And then you can throw a kitchen sink at the opponent, and kitchen sink basically triggers all of those effects. There is a physical vulnerability, suppression, and all of the rest of them. And yeah, so in total there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 objects that you can throw on the opponent. Also, further on, after you have thrown the kitchen sink, basically your level 2 will give you a fury, but it also gives you additional fury up to 4 more furies on how many level 1s you have thrown, more or less, or how many different objects you have thrown. And then you can gain up to 5 furies on your level 2, and that is kind of how you get the bigger damage. And her damage did seem quite alright there. And at that point, so basically as a champion, you're going to want to drop a handful of level 1s to your opponent, and then a level 2, and then you can do a lot of damage and be super aggressive and finish out the fight. So class dossier. When Jessica reaches max investigation, she gains a dossier on opponent's class. That is a basically crossfight ability that lasts the entire quest, increasing her combat power rate by 25% while 1 bar of power. Dossiers are crossfight, lasting for the rest of the quest. Once Jessica has dossier in 3 classes, she also gains 1 on superior class. At the start of each fight, if Jessica already has her opponent's dossier, she gains 1 investigation for every 50 signature levels obtained. So basically, if you have her at SIG 200, you can have her, again, start at like 4 investigations. It should significantly speed up the fight. And as far as rotation goes, it's basically as I explained. You throw a handful of level 1s, and then go for level 2, and then the jobs can be done. Level heavy attacks also can pause the debuffs you inflict by level 1s, and I think they had some additional effect there, but mainly it's just going to be the level 1s into level 2, and then be super aggressive, benefit from the unblockable and everything else. Let's check out her synergies real quick. So with Luke Cage, she actually has an amazing synergy for Luke Cage, where ability accuracy for personal exhaustions inflicted by light attacks is increased by 15% flat, and that is a crazy good synergy for Luke Cage, because if you can get more exhaustions, you inflict more damage with Luke Cage, your stuns are more reliable, and life's good. That's about that. Jessica Jones increased chance of throwing the box with special attack 1. Also start each fight with an indestructible charge from Jessica Jones special 3. Special 3 I didn't mention because it kind of sucks a bit, because only 2 things special 3 does is it stuns the opponent for somewhat meaningful amount of time, and it also gives you this indestructible passive that doesn't work against level 3s. That indestructible passive is dormant, and it activates next time you get hit, so that is cool, it is quite nice, but in 99% of the fights you're not gonna go for that level 3. But it's still kind of nice to have it at the beginning of the fight as a failsafe, for sure. Now with Iron Fist and Iron Fist Immortal, where both of them well-timed blocks inflict the stagger debuff for 2 seconds, perfectly timed blocks inflict Fate Seal instead. It's quite neat, I suppose, but Iron Fists need much more than that. Jessica Jones increased chance of throwing the Fire Hydrant with special 1. Also, whenever the opponent suffers a debuff, 40% chance to inflict the stagger passive for 4 seconds. It's kind of nice, I suppose, why not? And then we have Synergies with Daredevils. Whenever the combo meter rises past multiple of 10, gain true accuracy. That's for Daredevils for 8 seconds. And when fighting science champions, that's a true track instead. Jessica Jones increased chance of throwing pizza, so that's an increased chance of regening. Also, dodging attacks using dexterity inflicts non-stacking exhaustion debuff, lowering critical damage instead, so you do not gain precision. I really wish this was in her base kit. Then she, in my opinion, would be much more powerful of a champion, especially because the synergies with Daredevils, and who the hell wants to use Daredevil in your synergy team? Basically, yeah, instead of triggering precision on your dexes, you would be inflicting debuffs, which helps you ramp up and just works general better. It would be really cool if this was in her base kit, but you know, it isn't. And then this synergy is actually bonkers. This synergy, I think, can make Jessica Jones go in kind of like overdrive, especially in special fights. So, synergy members. Fill a bar of power randomly grants dormant unblockable through damage or 40% prowess charge. Charges are removed, replaced when the next corresponding with their corresponding buffs when you use a special attack. So you can get all 3 of these. So it's kind of nice. It's decent, you know. Getting bonus effects and up to 40% extra damage on your special attacks. But for Jessica Jones, striking a champion who has active, unblockable, through damage, or prowess effects grant a fury passive, increasing attack rating by 30% for 8 seconds, and these stack. So dropping a combo will give you like 150% worth of furies. So up against most of the mutants, or many of the mutants that have prowess effects, you can just go ham at them. This synergy can be absolutely bonkers in right situations. But then again, most of the Jessica Jones kit kind of is, and she looks like actually like quite a useful trophy champion. So I definitely do want to get my hands on this lady, because yeah, the damage seemed fine. We'll see how it translates to the game. There is obviously slight annoyance with the unpredictability of her kit, because you do not know what debuffs or what items you're gonna get on your level 1 until you get to kitchen sink, at which point you know exactly what you're gonna get, which is everything. But she does have a stable rotation. Drop a handful of level 1s, go to level 2, and KO the opponent, basically. And I do like the fact that she basically has inbuilt taunt, inbuilt regeneration rate, and ability accuracy reduction. So, if I'm not mistaken, when you drop your level 1s and inflict more debuffs on your opponent, you will be able to reverse the regeneration as well, which is quite cool. And yeah, I think she looks quite cool. It's a shame that she is a trophy champion again, in my opinion, because many people would love to have her and will not be able to access her for a really long time. So that kind of sucks. But there she is. I think it's a cool addition to the game. I think it was about time we get a new trophy champion. I suppose it's good that it is Jessica Jones. It's a bit odd, I think, but kind of cool anyways. Let me know what you guys think. I know that it's kind of hard to be hyped up for this, knowing that it's going to be extremely difficult to get your hands on it. But it's still quite interesting, and as objectively judging the champion by her kit, I do like her. I don't think she's going to be the best test champion ever, but it's kind of cool. I like the Easter eggs and jokes kind of weaved in her abilities. And it definitely looks playable. It definitely looks usable. So I would love to get my hands on it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to catch you guys later. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the